Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Spirit Journey. Today is Monday, December 28th, 2020, and the time is 12:53 p.m. I want to do a I want to talk about something. It is sensitive for me. Uh, I initially heard about this story on Alex Jones' channel, Infowars. And one of the announcers there talked about this particular incident that happened. Um, I have here on the screen, let me show you the title. Okay, this is taken from Washington Examiner, I think it's called. And let's see. Okay, teenager gets recording of classmate using the N-word, waits to release it so it ruins college chances. This is by Emma Colton, social media manager. Okay, it was posted December 27, 2020. Okay, and I'm going to first read it, the parts of the story, and my feeling about it. Um, when I heard it, it made me extremely sad. Not angry, but sad. Um, and how the mind of America today. Um, which are, there's um, people are hurting, and people are willing to do almost anything to hurt people. Um, there's no perfect person, and um, let me go for it. I'm sorry. Let me read it. A young man in Virginia says he has no regrets over waiting to release a video he saved of a high school classmate using the N-word, when she was 15, which ultimately resulted in her not attending her dream college this year. I waited, in quotes, I waited to get her where she would understand severity of the word, end of quotes. Jimmie Galligan, who is 18 and biracial, told the New York Times of his former high school classmate, Mimi Groves, who is 19 and white. Both attended Heritage High School in Leesburg, Virginia. He tucked the video away, deciding to post it publicly when the time was right. The New York Times reported of why he didn't release the video when he first saw it last year. He released it this summer when protests and riots spread across the country following the death of George Floyd. It was also after Groves had been accepted to the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, where she was slated to compete on the school's cheer team. Can you say anything else? I think it's more. Yeah, the next month, as protests were sweeping the nation after the police killing of George Floyd, Ms. Groves, in a public Instagram post, urged people to protest, donate, sign the petition, rally, do something in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. The New York Times reported, Groves realized that the video of her saying, I can drive, N-word, was public after she was met with condemnation from a stranger on social media for supporting the BLM movement while also previously using racial language. Her alarm at the stranger's comment turned to panic as friends began calling, directing her to the source of a brewing social media furor. Mr. Galligan, who had waited until Miss Groves had chosen a college, had publicly posted the video that afternoon. Wow. Within hours, it had been shared to Snapchat, TikTok, and Twitter, where furious calls mounted for the University of Tennessee to revoke its admission offer, the New York Times reported. Okay, I'm not going to read anymore. Oh, wait a minute, I should read on that. Okay. The video circulation ultimately ended with Groves giving up her acceptance to the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, as well as losing her spot on the school's cheer team. Galligan told the New York Times that he didn't regret releasing the video, saying, "If I never posted that video, nothing would have ever happened. I'm going to remind myself, you started something," he added. You taught someone a lesson." The story, however, has sparked the ear of some who say that cancel culture has gone too far. With an American conservative opinion, he's called Galligan an example of the uh, okay, I wouldn't read further. No, that's all I want to read. Yeah, it's getting. I feel a lot of anger and a lot of sadness. We go in pieces. I was just shocked. I'm more shocked at um, Mr. Galligan's action. Um, I'm a black woman of mixed heritage as well. I know what it's like to not fit in uh, both cultures and you feel like you're in the middle. My high school was integrated. It was a really nice school. I liked it. Um, there was an incident at the school. Someone had wrote the N word "go home" on the front of the school. This is in New York City in the 1970s, it was. I know how that made me feel. I felt awkward. And during that time, when that happened, I felt more aware about my racial heritage. Very uncomfortable. I was very uncomfortable in my skin. Um, and it just got worse as I got older. Um, so I can understand Mr. Galligan feeling uncomfortable. Um, it's like I'm confused by his actions. Um, but he felt it was necessary, and again, he says that he wanted her to know the severity of the word and teach her a lesson, not to use words like that. The words, what she said, I don't like hearing the word. I don't like hearing black people say the word either. I live in New York City, and the only people that really use the word are other black people. And I'm tired of hearing it. Would he have said the same thing if you heard a black person say it? So, see, we teach by example. I'm not anybody perfect. I'm not trying to moralize anybody here, but just share my feelings and what I think about all this. Um, See, when we say things, and you never really know how other people. You might say things in joke, but the person hearing may receive it another way. Or sometimes people will think, "Oh, that's funny," and they copy. I had an experience. I know of someone who he was coming from Europe, a white fellow from Europe, and his aunt was married to a black American man, and the married couple, lived in Brooklyn, and he went to live with his aunt and the aunt's husband, and he used that word a lot, the N word. And he was in my company, the European man, and he he was driving, and he said the N word in a real. And I said, "You don't say." I said, "You don't say things like that." He said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Well, my uncle says it all the time. My aunt is married to a black man, and he says it." He says, "Well, if you're on me, you don't say words like that." But so people learn by example. He learned the N word from another black person, from a black person. And when you're when people outside of the black community hears it spoken so often, to them it doesn't really make any difference. I mean, it's no biggie. And young people like to act like they're tough or whatever, and they're playing a character. And it was to my understanding with Ms. Groves, who said the comment. It was a short snippet, like a 3-second snippet, um, that she was imitating uh, a statement what a black performer or a black person had said, and she was trying to act cool, whatever, and said that. It doesn't make it any better. I mean, it's not good that she said it, but you have to realize that people have ears and people repeat what they hear, good or bad. People like to, young kids, they like to show off when they learn new things and comments, and they may not know the historical significance behind certain words. If something is used like toilet paper all the time, it loses its power. And other people outside of the black community think nothing of it. If you, being a black person, say it, um, they might think nothing of it. So if you don't want people to say certain words, don't say it. So if it's not okay for this white person to say it, it should be, black people shouldn't say it either. Whether she said it with a strong R or low R, you know what I'm saying? Doesn't really make a difference. I don't want to hear it either. But Mr. Galligan wanted to teach her a lesson. Um, this is other reason why, yeah, I'll say this part of the story, why it affected me. So I read the thing, and immediately my mind goes to a story I heard some years back at the severity of, I think, Mr. Galligan's response. I understand his anger. No one wants to hear the N word from a white person, but it just goes further. Let me show you the story. Why it affected me, what it reminded me of, the actions of Mr. Galligan. Um, there was a couple. They were dating, a man and woman. They were on vacation, and during the vacation, uh, the guy gets a notice that his father passed away, and he's grieving. The girl, uh, then girlfriend, talks to him and says, uh, we don't have to leave right away to go back home. It's something to that effect. And he stayed. He didn't race back. But if this man were really, really a man, he would have told, if it really bothered him, he would have just said, my family needs me. I'm going back home. But he didn't. He stays on the vacation, the whole vacation with the girlfriend. And he stays with the girl, continues dating her, and even marries her. Because, see, he had a trick up his sleeve to teach his girlfriend a lesson about you wouldn't let me go back home. And this is a grown man, okay? So he wants to teach a lesson about loss and how it pained him of his loss. So his plan was to marry the girl and then have a baby, plan a baby with her, and then murder the baby so he can say to her, "It wasn't nice what you did to me X years ago when my father died. You didn't let me go home." This is a grown-ass man, okay? And his plan, he acts out his plan that he planned for some years. He could have just left the girl, say, screw you. My father's dead. I want to go to my family and grieve with them, you know? But he doesn't. So I think it was more of an internal problem within himself. This pain that he didn't have the manhood to deal with his girlfriend. He could have just said, even if he stayed on the vacation and later on said, I feel bad that I didn't leave on the vacation. I don't want to deal with you anymore. To that, even that, I would give him some credit. But he plans it, says, I'm going to get back at this girl, and decides to marry her. They have a baby that he planned with her, so he could murder the baby and say, now you know how it feels. Really. That's why I'm upset right now. It reminded me immediately of that story. I felt it was overkill. If he really felt the N-word was that bad, I thought he should address the issue then. It was just a year ago that he found the video. Why was he following her on social media? What and to wait until she gets into college? So he's like almost seemed like stalking her following her on social media. He waits, and the incident with George Floyd happens. I just don't, I don't know. But okay, the girl now, did the girl other times say things? Did she say the thing to him? I don't think so. So it wasn't something that was directed towards him, but just a girl, white girl, trying to sound cool and imitating a black character who used that wording. She's okay. That was 4 years ago. She said the statement, but what she's doing now, she's organizing people to support Black Lives Matter, okay? And that sounds like a good thing. But let's say I forget his name. Maybe he thought that she was being a hypocrite when she's saying other things against black people. That would have been an important factor. Um, did she deny someone a job? Did she do something physically against somebody to interfere with their livelihood? That's an issue, if that was the case. So what was it? Was the real issue that the young man who kept a recording for about a year who planned. So it wasn't about real. I felt, again, this is my opinion. It wasn't about to enlighten someone, a person who's 15 at that time. So it wasn't to teach her, hey, you can use other words or, things like that hurt. You don't sound cool imitating so and so. Some things is not culturally appropriate to say if you're a white person saying this N word. That would have been educational. Okay, um, but his action, I think, was extreme. Um, it was meant to harm uh, severely. Um, to do not, and again, to wait. So she wasn't in the college. So it was his plan to when she got, so he knows the girl, that knows probably how old she is, and maybe she's mentioning about graduating on social media, but somehow he knew all that information that she's applying to a particular school. And then, whammo. So was it really about George Floyd? Or was George Floyd the excuse to do something that he wasn't willing to do to her directly, or maybe give her a private email or something like that? So I think the George Floyd really wasn't the issue. It sounded like maybe it's something that he's dealing with about himself. And I want to hurt this person, right? He wants to hurt her. I thought it was just it was a hurt that I thought he could have expressed his hurt to her in a more constructive way. Um, I don't know. It's just it wasn't directed at him, and again, that's no excuse. And so, how are you going to stop people from saying the N word? It was something that he put back on social media. So isn't that going counter again, being counterproductive if you want to teach someone the badness of a word? So you're going to upload that filth on social media so to reinforce that negative word. So I thought that was problematic. So you're fighting yourself. Um, so she doesn't get into the college. She doesn't get into what else? The cheerleading thing. Is it really worth it? Why did you follow her on? Why did you feel it necessary to follow her on social media and for a year? You could have told her then in a year. But you're becoming a judge now, and wow, it's a harsh. In my opinion, it's a harsh judgment against her. I know what it feels like to want to revenge. I think most of us do. But I just feel that the crime should equal the punishment should equal the crime. She said something, trying to sound cool. I didn't care for it. I didn't like it either. Um, what about the people who teach that word, who make records, use the word all the time on TV? Everywhere. I live in New York City. Everywhere I go, all the time, I hear that word, and it's feeding into the psyche of everyone who hears. And so it's not just the girl, and the girl is imitating what some black person had said. You know, I remember the comedian Eddie Murphy. I didn't like Eddie Murphy when he came out on Saturday Night Live because I was tired hearing that crap. And it again feed the mind, and people would laugh, laugh, laugh. I didn't think it was funny. I didn't think it was funny, but a lot of people did. A lot of whites, a lot of a lot of people who heard it. They loved Eddie Murphy. What good did his humor really bring out in society? What good? And now he has a white partner now. You know, excuse me. So sometimes people say things, and they just say it to So how can they say it? I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired. Um, sorry, my voice is going. Other things that it remind me of, like I was in a situation in college. Like um, I was in a college once. I went away to a college just for a semester, and I befriended uh, two people who were in a room in the dorm next to my dorm. They were fun to be with. They were fun. It was a black and white, one black, one white. And I thought they were both really nice people. Um, but one day the white girl said something, and what she said was designed to insult me. And I think, in hindsight, I think she was jealous of me. Um, I see that you have insecure people. Like, a lot of girls are actually jealous, can be jealous of other girls. And I didn't think I was anything, I didn't think I was in competition with her. I thought she was a friend. But people could say things. And I still remember the girl. I remember her name. And I, I knew how it made me feel. And I thought it was a low blow what you did. And it wasn't the first time white females have said things to me. Um, that was when I was like 19, and then uh, a manager said something of the same caliber. And so I understand, I did not feel that, oh, I got to teach someone a lesson. We all know what we need to say or not say. But you have insecure people, and you have people who abuse power. You have supervisors, managers, and you really can't say anything. Maybe I could have said something. See, I had liked the lady. These are not people that I thought were the racists, you know. I thought people were okay, but they felt that it's okay, or maybe they knew I was of mixed heritage and gave me a low punch. It was a low blow, and I hated it. So I know what it's like. Um, I think with some things, the punishment has to, and I didn't address the issue with. I was shocked. I was hurt, angry, and shocked. Because it wasn't even something. Some people think certain things are cute, and it's not. Some people have to be educated, and people like that. Maybe I could have said something directly, and I think my dilemma is I'm aware of my racial heritage, so I embrace both. I consider myself black, I identify with that, but I also know of my other heritage. And for me, to love the whole package. So for me to say something specifically against white people, I didn't feel comfortable with that. And that's why I didn't say anything. But maybe something I could have said. what at the time that's to be said. And I remember in the military, I also served in the United States Navy, and I dealt with a young white guy. Um, we he was much younger, and I think in hindsight he was uncomfortable. He was uh, aware of my race. How to word it? Sometimes I guess when some whites are out of their social group, even though in the military it was integrated, and we were in class together, and there was a different races in our class, but I think he was just felt awkward. It was I think at that time just me and him in a room in a classroom or something, but and I think that made him uncomfortable. I think maybe he's dealing with his own feelings, and maybe he didn't understand this, or maybe he liked it. I don't know, but he became, I feel, aware of what I was and what he wasn't. And so he felt a need. It seemed like now he seemed like a good guy at heart. But I noticed he kept coming by and wanted to share me pictures of his friend. He said, "Oh, I got pictures of my friend. I want you to see a picture of my friend." And all the people that he wants to show me are all people of color. And he's from California. And I felt like he's only showing me this because of my race. And if I were white, let's say, I don't think he'd be showing me. So I felt like he was trying to communicate, oh, I'm not prejudiced, or I love people of color, or black people, or Hispanics. There were all different types of people of color that he showed me. And I was getting angry. I got angry. And so I wrote him a letter. That's how I dealt with it. Because it was like he kept on and on. And I didn't, it was, I felt making it an issue. He was making something there. I could have misjudged him, but how I took it. And so I wrote him a letter and handed it to him on how I felt. I'm that type of person. Yeah, this was many, many years ago, over 30 years ago. And he got offended. Now, I didn't use curse words. I wasn't like that back then. But I shared him why. I shared him in the letter why I was upset. That you're only showing me pictures of these people because I'm black, and you want to make yourself feel that you're not prejudiced or for black people, or you like minorities. And I feel uncomfortable. I don't like what you're doing. It makes me uncomfortable. So then he shares the letter to a biracial black fellow. He was black and white mixed. Then he comes to me and says, oh, you're kind of hard on him. So why is it that if you address something to someone and just that person, if you don't like something, you have a right to express yourself and tell them. And it was specific, and I told him why it upset me. But I felt for him to now want to make a riff. See, you don't want to make waves. So I felt like the white dude falls back and now need to have a discord with the fellow. We were all friends. And the guy, I was friends with him. He was a good fellow. I consider him like more like family. Yeah, we got along very, very well. So I felt that it was to pit us against each other, me and the other mixed race black fellow. So I didn't like that. But sometimes people, we are all raised in certain things. And yes, racism is racialistic thinking, racism, colorism is a reality in this country. And something we may not realize our emotions and why we do it. Maybe the guy didn't realize how he came across to me. It's like every time you see, oh, let me show you another friend. I don't do that. I don't show people, like I have cats and dogs now. I might show people my pets, and they might share me their pictures. When I go outside walking my dog, people come up to me, I want to share you pictures of my dog. So it's to bring people together. So, it's just weird. It's just weird. And maybe some men might really be attracted to a black female, but they might be shy about it. I don't know. I met a white dude that I went to, was in the military with. And again, I thought he was a good person. He was a hard worker. And then he just started acting out. And I addressed the issue. I just said it to him verbally. I said, look, I don't like how you're talking to me. I don't like it patronizing. And I think that particular incident ultimately was my demise in the military, from the military. Yeah. It's a shame how racism, or people who, white men who may feel uncomfortable being around black women, because maybe they're taught, hey, you're not supposed to talk to black women or whatever. One white fellow in the military did tell me, we were having lunch together. He was not a boyfriend or anything like that, but we did eat at a restaurant. And he just popped out, he said, you know something? Uh, he said, if my grandfather saw me talking to you, he would, something, you know. So I gave him an education. I shared with him, I wish I could remember exactly what I said, but I talked to him about race and racism, history of um, black history, something within black history. It was a lesson that I was teaching him historical things. And you know what he said? He says, wow, I never knew that. He says, you should talk to the other guys, the other white guys about that, something like that. He was appreciative. See, I think I taught him that because, see, I saw that it was a learning opportunity at that moment, I felt. Again, it wasn't a date or anything like that. And I felt comfortable enough to tell him, hey, because I felt because why would see, that particular person wasn't raised around wasn't raised around black people, nor his grandfather. And so I felt like, well, why would he be against someone like me? I'm a good person, and if there are no blacks there, so why would he be against someone like me? So I felt in my logic, because back then I'm very logical and try to bring reason, because he shared, there's no black people where he's from, so why be against me? Why would just sitting, having lunch, why would it be such a, we're both in the military. So I felt at that time to share with him. I wish I could remember what it was that I told him about something in black history. And he appreciated it. I think most people, we're given programs in life, programs about how we're supposed to treat certain people, treat ourselves, treat our neighbors. People just we're being programmed, and I guess in his program, society was saying you don't associate with black people, and he's letting me know. So I felt, oh well, give him a lesson. And he was appreciative. And he said, you should tell the other guys. I said, well, maybe you could tell them yourself or something like that. Something, I said, you could teach them or share my information, you know? Um, so a 15-year-old, who I think about when I was 15, we say things. And I think with Mr. Galligan, to really go within that, are you really being a teacher to teach people? The whole thing with Black Lives Matter, isn't that about teaching? Why is it bad to put someone's knee in someone's neck? Why is that bad? About humanity. It's not about Black Lives Matter movement. It shouldn't be a movement about, I'm going to get back at so-and-so because they said something on social media. They were trying to imitate this black person and I'm offended. Go to that person. Say, it's not cool for white people to say. It's not good for black people to say, but it's not cool for white people to say. She was receptive, I think, the fact that she is sharing on social media about, that the lives of black people do matter. But I feel that you're making her life not matter. Now, she got to get a job. She got to go, that's been hindered. Now, if this person prevented someone from getting a job and said, I'm going to call this person the N-word and make them so that they don't hire that person from a job or prevent that other person from getting accepted into a college or this, that's something else. But someone just being a jerk, and it was 4 years prior, we've all said things. All of us, I've said things that I regret in life. And the only thing that you can do, you could apologize to a person or apologize to the universe and say, repent from certain things. I want to live a positive life, And she sounds like someone who is becoming socially aware. A 15-year-old and a 19-year-old is two separate things. A 15-year-old is a minor. A 19-year-old is an adult. A lot of things happen in 4 years, especially from 15 to 19. She might have already had a job and maybe working or interacting with other types of people. Yeah. It could have been a really good teaching tool, especially you being biracial. And say, hey, this is what I deal with as a mixed race black person, or whatever, how you want to classify yourself. And go to a person like her and say, this is how you made me feel. Even go into the black community and say, hey, people, when you say words like that, and I'm mixed race, how you make me feel when you say that? Yeah, it's all of us. And the planning, you could have planned something really profound for her. She might have changed. I just felt it was overkill. And I don't know. In fact, the guy, when I was in the military, the guy who kept showing me that he has friends with minorities, the other biracial guy said, your letter was too strong. He felt that was wrong. Yeah, it's something to tell the truth is yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things. So I can understand that you want to teach her a lesson, but the evidence of everything about her, again, maybe it was something more in her conduct. Maybe there's other things that you didn't share to the public about her. Yeah, maybe she, who knows? But that's just how I feel. Yeah. Um, these days, we have to be real careful about what we say. And I think this social media, like, I don't know, I think it's just the storing information to store, to, I don't know. It's that aspect that doesn't resonate with me. Um, yeah, I mean, you at least you're honest about your feelings that you don't regret. But did she learn about the word? Is it really transformative for her? That anybody could listen to someone could take what you say out of context, or in the spur of the moment, you say something that might be politically incorrect, and use your own words against you. That what goes around comes around. And again with her, was she trying to hurt people? I would think that's really the main issue. Her intent was, in today's language, people are, you know. So if it's not good for whites to say it, and I agree with that, it's not good for whites to say that. Or anyways, I in particular, I don't want to hear it from black people as well. And that would be real progress. Let's stop saying these words about ourselves, the N-word, or all other racial epithets, you know. If you don't want people to learn it, that word, then don't use it. Because whites hear it, whites use it, is how you're using it. They may not know the difference. Of course, yes, we know that there are some, they know exactly what they're saying, and they know exactly why they're saying it. And again, it's about intent. Okay? So that's my share for the day. And yeah, I don't feel good about this story at all. I don't feel enlightened about the decision. That's my little doggy. About the decision made, but he made a decision for himself. And yeah, let's just all of us clean up our language. Yeah. So we have to be the example then, Black people, we gotta be the example. If you don't want whites, Hispanics, or Asian to say the N-word, then the buck has to stop with us. And we have to remove it from our vocabulary, okay? Thank you again for listening. Peace, love, and joy to you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.